continue this all day. I also will add you to the case if you want to continue this. This needs to be dismissed today.
This district court in the state of Michigan is now in session with the Honorable Judge Donald Coleman presiding. While court is in session, there will be no talking, sleeping, chewing gum, or reading any material. Thank you.
Thank you. This is case number 23-152244. This is Javar Grayson versus Brian Ambrose. The matter is before the court where there is an application for entry of a default judgment. The court has set the matter on in regard to that motion. Your appearance for any attorney who's appearing on either side, your appearance in first instance, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Christopher Michaels, P83156, on behalf of Police Officer Brian Ambrose. And briefly, there was also the defendant's motion to dismiss in lieu of answer was filed. I don't know if today is the date and time for that as well.
I do have that matter that was filed with the court June the 30th and submitted to the court. So that is an issue that's before the court as well. All right, and do I have Javar Grayson on the Zoom? Say something if you hear it this time.
Yes, Your Honor. Javar Grayson represents.
All right, folks, buckle up because we're diving into another round in Judge Coleman's courtroom. If you thought the last encounter with this sovereign citizen was wild, wait until you see round two. Here we have Javar Grayson, a self-represented litigant with an extraordinary belief in his so-called birthright and right to travel. Today, he's taking on not just a traffic system, but an actual police officer. And yes, things are about to get chaotic, confusing, and a little cringeworthy. Stick around because you're about to witness a masterclass in courtroom absurdity, sovereign citizen style, and Judge Coleman isn't pulling any punches.
To you as well. So, all right, I see that there is the, let me address the issue of the application for entry of default judgment in this matter. On what basis are you saying, Mr. Grayson, that you should be entitled to entry of default judgment in this matter, sir?
Well, Your Honor, we sent documents into you stating that I'm a national, a Morris American, and this highwayman has no jurisdiction over me. And we sent that information to you, and also sent, I believe I have a court, People versus Battle as a reference in the case.
I think that you're addressing something that don't have anything to do with my question. You submitted to the court a default request. Now, on one hand, you're telling me that the court doesn't have jurisdiction. You tell me that the court doesn't have jurisdiction and you're not submitting to the jurisdiction of the court. Then why are you filing something in this court if you believe the court doesn't?
Now let's break down players. On one side, we have Officer Brian Ambrose, represented by Christopher Michaels. On the other, Javar Grayson, representing himself. The stakes? A civil complaint following a traffic stop. What's immediately interesting here is how Javar frames his argument, claiming he's a Morris American and that the court has zero jurisdiction. In other words, he's essentially telling Judge Coleman, "You can't touch me," while simultaneously asking the court to grant him a default judgment. Already, you can see the tension building because you don't get to pick and choose when the law applies. Judge Coleman's job here? Keep it procedural, keep it fair, and not get dragged into the madness.
I'm sorry, the jurisdiction that doesn't have jurisdiction, the 36th District Court, a traffic court, that's not pertaining to you. What I decided to do was send you basically every information to communicate what I've been doing basically in 36th District Court, as well as this procedure.
I'm not a traffic court judge. I'm a civil judge. But I don't know what are you talking about?
Yes, sir. And I understand that.
All right, Mr. Michaels, address yourself, if you will, to both issues. One is the motion for entry of default, and then secondly, which I believe these issues might collide, the motion to dismiss in lieu of filing an answer. So go right ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did read the copy of the request for default this week, so I had no opportunity to respond. Obviously, the city or the city law department who is representing this police officer filed its motion back in June, dismissed in lieu of an answer. So I don't believe there's any grounds whatsoever for a default judgment. The brief speaks pretty clearly on its face for why a dismissal is appropriate. There is no viable claim stated in plaintiff's original complaint, and since the defendant is was at the time and still is a police officer, he would be entitled to governmental immunity. It appears that it's some sort of dispute regarding traffic tickets or citations that were given for various matters that are currently pending in front of Judge Perkins right now. So it also appears to be some sort of collateral attack against those proceedings, which is under Michigan rules not permitted. So we would ask this court dismiss this case under any.
And here comes the paradox. Javar claims the court has no jurisdiction over him, yet he's actively filing motions demanding action from that very court. Classic sovereign citizen logic. Think of it as a legal paradox wrapped in confusion. Judge Coleman is rightfully puzzled. Why file a case in a court you don't recognize? It's a question that keeps popping up in these cases. And honestly, it's hard not to feel secondhand embarrassment for Javar. The courtroom isn't just a place for law. It's a stage where contradictions like this get highlighted. And the audience, well, we're all watching the slow unraveling of his arguments. Let's pause and look at the legal side. Judge Coleman methodically explains why a default judgment is off the table. Default only applies when a party fails to respond. In this case, Officer Ambrose responded in June, well within the legal window. And there it is, your first procedural smackdown. The motion for default is denied. This is where the difference between civil procedure and a sovereign citizen's interpretation becomes glaringly obvious. Javar's argument doesn't align with Michigan law, and the judge systematically walks through why the case isn't valid. For those wondering, governmental immunity protects officers like Ambrose from baseless claims. And that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Certainly, let me begin with the default request. I don't see where the defendant is in default in this matter. He's responded to the complaint. Default is when a party fails to act in the judicial proceeding, in a court proceeding, fail to act when they should have acted, and that therefore the court would be required to enter their default because of their failure. Things like failure to answer the complaint or failure to file a responsive pleading. The responsive pleading that was filed in this matter was filed in June. The case was filed, looks like June the 13th, 2023. The motion was filed June the 30th. That's certainly within the time required by law to do a responsive pleading. So I don't see any basis for default. Default is what, like if the defendant did not answer or didn't file a response, then the plaintiff could move for entry of default. I don't see a basis for entry of default in this matter. No, so the motion and application for entry of default is denied. There's nothing about this case that shows that the plaintiff is in default or.
Now, take a moment to appreciate the sheer absurdity here. Javar's cause of action boils down to a traffic ticket dispute and a supposed right to travel. Judge Coleman and the audience are left trying to follow logic through layers of sovereign citizen jargon. And honestly, you have to laugh a little. This is legal theater at its finest. Here's a question for you all. If you were the judge, would you even bother engaging with these arguments or just dismiss them outright? Drop your thought in the comments, because these courtroom antics raise some serious how would you handle it questions.
No, for that matter, that defendant is in default on anything. Neither party is in default. The case is right where it's supposed to be, and that is that there's been a complaint filed, and then there's been a responsive pleading. That responsive pleading is a motion to dismiss in lieu of filing an answer. If the plaintiff didn't file straight, if the defendant didn't file a motion, he would have had to file an answer to the complaint. So when there's a complaint, you've got to answer within a certain period of time by either filing a written answer or by filing a motion. Sometimes there's a motion for a more definite statement. Sometimes there's a motion to dismiss because the complaint is deficient or it has some legal flaw involved. This motion to dismiss and will answer is filed alleging and arguing that summary disposition should be granted, or that a motion that the court should dismiss the case because there's no legal grounds, factual grounds for this case to stand on. What is this case about, Mr. Grayson, sir?
It's about a traffic, I guess is a some type of traffic ticket. It started off Brian Ambrosius stopping me, and I believe I have the right to travel.
Here's the pivotal moment. Judge Coleman doesn't mince words. He explains that the complaint is dismissed without prejudice. Translation: Javar can technically try again, but only if he brings a claim recognized by Michigan law. The judge clarifies that while there is a theoretical right to travel, it doesn't trump the law or law enforcement authority on public roadways. This is a textbook example of judicial patience meeting absurdity head-on. The audience gets clarity, Javar gets a lesson in legal reality, and the courtroom moves forward. It's both an educational moment and a dramatic finale.
And I do understand the default judgment, what that you are saying, and what it's pertaining to. We are still ready to proceed with the case.
What exactly is your cause of action? Because I don't think that you stated a cause of action that upon which the court could move forward with the complaint.
Well, actually, in traffic court 936 district, there's actions being taken against me as we speak. This is a current case, and 36 district court has no jurisdiction over me. That's why I decided to bring it into civil court common law. And this is a 6-month case that's still going on. So,
all right, Mr. Michael, you get the last word on your motion.
Right, yes, very briefly, there was nothing filed by plaintiff. It does sound like he's disputing his traffic tickets in this court, which is a collateral attack, which the Michigan court rules and do not allow. So I think that's the best ground to dismiss this case, and we would ask this court.
I object, Your Honor. I'm disputing my birthright. I'm disputing.
And just like that, the sovereign citizen loses again. No more birthrights, no more rights to travel, and definitely no default judgment. This is what happens when personal ideology meets codified law. Inevitably, law wins. From a storytelling perspective, it's a perfect mix of tension, humor, and legal clarity. For regular viewers, it's also a reminder that the courtroom isn't a playground for personal belief. It's a structured environment with rules that simply can't be bent by fancy wording or unusual claims.
All right, I got it. All right, that you felt the state of action upon which the court can grant relief. This case and the complaint in this matter will be dismissed. It's dismissed without prejudice, meaning that if you could formulate a cause of action that is recognized in the Michigan law, then you can bring the matter. If you can formulate case law or some type of law that supports your cause of action. It sounds like part of what is being said here is that as a sovereign person, you have the right to travel and et cetera, et cetera. And there is some basis for the same, but yet there is law that allows for law enforcement to stop individuals that are traveling upon the roadways. And so if that is what the cause of action is that they don't have the right to stop me, there is nothing in Michigan law that recognizes that. If, on the other hand, you find some basis to establish that that the stop was in the form of some illegal activity, harassment, some advance against your person that is not permitted under law, or done under color of law but not permitted under the Constitution, then you certainly have the right to bring an action here or in circuit court or in federal court. This case does not have any grounding to it. For that reason, the complaint is dismissed in this matter again, and the complaint is dismissed without prejudice. That would be a final order regarding this particular file.
So to recap, Javar Grayson filed a frivolous civil complaint against Officer Ambrose claiming no jurisdiction and a right to travel, but the court dismissed the case without prejudice. Judge Coleman explained procedural rules, governmental immunity, and why such claims cannot proceed. This was a clear win for law and order and a fascinating glimpse into sovereign citizen courtroom antics. If you found this case as shocking and entertaining as we did, hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.